Hello everybody and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. So now I'm not filming this video, I'm filming this video in this position because, well, this is the second time I'm doing this video. Not because I didn't do it right the first time, but because I accidentally deleted the footage from the first time I filmed this. And I'm so stupid for doing that, but you know what? I still wanted this video to go out into the world, so we're gonna film it like this. So, for today's video, I am doing a review on Poppy's sophomore/new album, Am I a Girl? And I have a lot to say. I have a lot of thoughts and I have a lot to say, and I'm gonna try to say the same things that I said in the first time I did this, because it was actually really good and I actually was really proud of myself for what I said. So I'm gonna try to keep it exactly the same way, but I'm also going to add things that I forgot to add in the first place. So if you want to see my review of this album, well, then keep on watching. For starters, I think I want to start off the same way I start off with any artist that I invest a lot of time into, and also that hasn't been around for a long time. So, you know, obviously I wouldn't do this with Madonna, and I wouldn't do this with Lady Gaga, but I'm going to do this with her because she hasn't had that much work out there right now. So I'm going to start from the beginning. So let's start with Bubble Bath. And I think it's important to start with Bubble Bath and go from there, because what her and Titanic and Claire have done is actually really, it's smart, and it's one of the most creative things I've seen so far in quite a few years. So let's start from there. Bubble Bath was an EP, and you could say it was her first body of work that she has ever released and put out there into the world. And it was fun, it was danceable, it was nothing out of this world. It had 4 songs: Low Life, Money, Alter, American Kids. However, looking back at it now, based on what I've heard from her other 2 works that she's now released, Bubble Bath sounds like this. It sounds like this girl who wants to make it big in the industry. She wants to make it big in the music industry. Very innocent, very unaware of the realities of the music industry. And she just wants to make genuinely good music. And she wants to have so many fans to play her music to. And she wants so many people to love her and support her. And it's very innocent. It's very innocent. And it's very blindly stepping into the music industry. Now with Poppy.Computer, it's, you know, she's made it in the industry, she's big, she has fans, she has what she's wanted. However, she lost a part of her in the process of, you know, gaining what she's always wanted. So that's why the album feels a little two-dimensional, and it feels very emotionalist, and it feels very cold in some ways, because there isn't as much emotion as there was in Bubble Bath, and also it isn't as deep as this next album is. However, there is still some form of emotion. There's emotion. Let me reword that. There's emotion. There isn't a human connection, and there isn't that human touch to the album. It feels very robotic. It feels very like I'm just making pop music and I'm this pop music writing machine. It feels like a machine wrote this, and it feels very two-dimensional, and it doesn't have as much of emotion. Now, with this new album, with Am I a Girl, I really don't know where to begin with this album. I don't know where to start with this album. I have the album in front of me, by the way. I don't know how to start with this album because, I actually really don't know. I think this album, in comparison to Poppy.Computer, it expands the Poppy universe. And it expands the story of what her and Titanic Sinclair have been saying for pretty much 4 years now, because they've been doing this for nearly 4 years now. It expands on the story, it expands on the universe, but it also leads people to kind of think for themselves how the future of Poppy is going to turn out to, because believe it or not, this girl does not stop. Like, this girl does not stop working. She said she's already started writing the third album, so that kind of gives you a clear indication as to how the album's gonna turn out. I think with Am I a Girl, I'm gonna start with the single. So the first single she released was Metal, which, thank God, is not on the album. Thank God it's not on the album, because it wasn't even her own song. It was a cover of a song from the 1970s. However, I do feel like she made the song justice. She made the cover justice, because it sounds pretty cool. Like, this version sounds a lot cooler than the 1970 version, obviously, because there isn't as much technology as there was back then. But it also complements the song, and it gives it a new and fresh update. Now, the real first single of the album was In a Minute, and I think In a Minute it was a classic Poppy song. Like, I think Poppy, she hasn't been around for long, but I think she's been around enough so that people can tell when a song is a Poppy song. Like, In a Minute is a Poppy song. Like, it isn't something out of this world. It felt like a Poppy song. I was like, okay, cool, great. Then she released Time Is Up. Now, with Time Is Up, I was actually very shook. I was in shock, I was shook, and I was also immensely surprised at the lyrical styles of this song, because they were unlike anything she's ever done before in her career so far. Time Is Up was definitely the standout song as of that moment, because it dealt with so many things that some are happening in the world. It also dealt with robots overtaking humans. It also dealt with extinction. It dealt with a lot of things that are actually really real. Like, I don't need air to breathe when you kill the bees. Bees are pretty much in the endangered species list, so she edited that very well, and I think Diplo did really good on this track, and this song really let me know how far Poppy can go with her artistic capabilities, because with Poppy.Computer there wasn't as far of artistic capabilities lyrically, but with this song it let me know that she could go very, very far with the writing and with artistic capabilities and with lyrical rhymings. It let me know that she has that capability in her to write really good pop music, and I think this was definitely the true beginning of Am I a Girl, of how strong and how deep this album was going to be. The next song she released was, I think it was Immature Couture, and look, it deserved better. Like, it deserved better. Like, there is no other way to put this. That song deserved better. It was such a good song, and I still really like that song, and I will still listen to that song. Like, I could literally see where she could have fit it in. It could have been right next to Chic Chick and nobody would have said anything. I would not have had to pinpoint this. I really would not have to pinpoint this. The other three songs came out: Fashion After All, Hard Feelings, and X. However, once X came out, and well, actually no, once Hard Feelings came out, I started to understand the bigger picture of what Poppy is, and I started to understand the bigger picture of this whole universe that she did. So I think I should explain that little universe that they've created so far, not just within the videos but within the music as well. So within Bubble Bath, like I said before, she's like, I just want to start in the music industry. I love music. I love making music. I can write music. I can make music, and it's very innocent music, and it's music that, could easily, get successful. It's music that could easily get successful. Then she finds success in Poppy.Computer, and it's as if she's realized truly what the music industry is, and she's realized what this music industry is actually all about, and she's lost a part of her to make it in this business. She's lost a part of her, and she's more two-dimensional, and there isn't as much emotion as there was in Bubble Bath. And it's very much like, I'm a pop music writing machine. I just write music. That's all I do. I don't really have any human emotions, and I don't really have anything that's human to me anymore, because I've lost it all to make it in this business. Now with Am I a Girl, it's the rebellion. It's the rebellion. She's made it big in this business. She's had success. She's found success. Now it's more about, I'm here, and I think I know who I am, but I feel like something's missing, and I don't have that human interaction. I yearn for that human interaction, and you can really tell that with this album, because I like how this album is cut into 3 parts. I think it was a genius move from her, and I think it was something really smart to do, because the first 4 songs, the first 4 songs are pretty much, I feel like the first 4 songs are where she left off with Poppy.Computer. I think that's where those 4 songs are in my head. They leave off where Poppy.Computer ended, and then comes the interlude, which was smartly made, and then Time Is Up, and then the other six songs, 6 songs, which dive into the idea of I want that human interaction, and I yearn for that human touch, that human intimacy, but also dealing with the dichotomy of orientation and what am I really into and who would I really like, and also dealing as well with the dichotomy of gender. Am I more masculine? Am I more feminine? Am I a boy? Am I a girl? And then in the last part, it's truly the rebellion of everything. It's like, screw everything. I don't want to do this anymore. If I'm going to be successful, I'm going to be successful the way I want to be successful. I will do this the way I want to, and I will be who I really want to be, and I will destroy anything and everything to do so. And I think the one thing that I don't think people have noticed of this album is that the final line in this album, let me just tell you, the final line in this entire album, it's take me back to the place where it all began. That's the last line in this album. The final lyric she sings in the whole album is take me back to where it all began. And in my opinion, now, I don't know if this is true. I have no involvement in Poppy's world. I really don't know anything. And also the depiction I've given you guys might not be accurate. It might be accurate. This is how I view things from an outsider perspective. But that final lyric, to me personally, looking at that and hearing that, lets me know that it paints the scene for the next album. It paints the scene for the next era. Kind of like in Poppy.Computer, the last line was, I think I like it, I think I like it. And then she realizes in this album, wait, I don't like where this is going. I don't like how this is turning out, and I want to do something to not continue this path and do something more different and be myself truly. And then with this album, it's like, take me back to where it all began. So what is the next album going to be? I predict, like I said, could not be true. Don't slap me in the face if it's not an actual album that I'm telling you. It could possibly be a Back to Roots album, or it could possibly get just slightly darker and continue with this rebellious side that the last 3 songs gave out, or it could go back to a style that Poppy.Computer, which were just 2-dimensional because they didn't like her rebellion. It could turn out either 3 ways. I don't know. Like I said, don't quote me on that. I'm not involved in anything, so I really wouldn't know. But that's how I view things. That's how I see things. Now, lyrically, as I said, this album is cut into 3 parts, and I love how this album is cut out, because look, I'm an albums person. I don't like singles. I don't like hearing bits and pieces of a whole body of work. I want to listen to the whole body of work. Like, don't give me like the first little taste of the album. Give me the whole album. I want the whole album. I like that. I like listening to an entire album from start to finish. I don't really like listening to bits and pieces before the album comes out. And the one thing that annoys me about her is that she releases like 5 songs before an album. But anyways, I like listening to the whole thing from start to finish because it tells the whole story. And it does, the album title song, which is Am I a Girl, I did not expect myself to like that song as much as I did, because the idea of gender fluidity and all that stuff, it doesn't really faze me, and it's not something that I like to talk about. It's not something that I like to discuss, let alone want it in a song. However, it got me to think about the real idea of the question, am I a girl? It's not so much as am I the gender girl or am I the gender boy. It's more of, do I feel like a girl or do I feel like a boy? So it doesn't really play along with the dichotomy of genders. It plays along with the dichotomy of femininity and masculinity. So I feel like this doesn't give off a, I don't know what my gender is. If it gives off a, I don't know how I feel, and it's not so much about gender, it's more about androgyny. So I feel like this is more about androgyny. It's more about the art of androgyny. I feel like Poppy feels a lot more androgynous than her actually feeling like a boy or a girl. That's how I viewed the song. That's how I viewed the concept, because there's songs like girls in bikinis, but also in the song she says, I want to see boys in bikinis too. So it definitely plays also along with lines of sexual orientation. It does she like girls? Does she like boys? Does she like both? So it's an album with a lot of questions, but thankfully those questions in my eyes get answered very, very well, because the listener can easily grasp onto what she's trying to say. Whereas with Poppy.Computer, you kind of had to dig deep to really know the concept of the album. And overall, on a personal perspective, if I'm honest, I'm gonna be very brutally honest now. I did not expect this album to come as soon as it did. Obviously, this year for Poppy hasn't been the easiest and hasn't been the most nicest when it comes to the public eye, because obviously things were said, people were brought up, things were done, things were turning out into the media, and things were getting really crazy. So, and I don't want to mention that too much because I did an entire video on that. But you all know what I mean. Things were very not okay. So for her to come out with this album really quickly and to do it really well, I'm incredibly proud of her, and I'm incredibly proud of the work that Titanic Sinclair has done with her. And also, I think I'm gonna say it. This is by far the most interesting album I've heard since Art Pop or The Fame Monster. I said it. This is by far the most interesting album I've heard since Art Pop or The Fame Monster. Mind you, The Fame Monster came out nearly 10 years ago, and Art Pop came out half a decade ago. It's been that long since I've heard such an interesting album like this one. It's so good in so many ways, and I absolutely enjoyed the experience of listening to it from start to finish. I think it's something that I recommend everybody listen to. If you love Poppy, or if you don't love Poppy but you've been curious to know a lot more about her, I suggest start with this album, because it's definitely going to give you an idea of how her mind works and of how she works as an artist as well. And it's also just such a good album with really good music. I think my favorite songs on this album are Aristocrat, from the ones I haven't heard, by the way. Aristocrat, Chic Chick, and Play Destroy. I think those are my favorite ones from the ones that I haven't heard. From the ones I have heard before, it has to be Time Is Up and Hard Feelings. Those two are my favorite ones. But overall, the album is really good. The album is really, really good, and I give it a 9.5 out of 10. Why do I give it a 9.5? Because Immature Couture wasn't on the album. Could have been on the album. Then you would have gotten the 10. But overall, it's such a good album, and like I said, it's been a long time since I've heard such an interesting album like this one. So anyways, I'm gonna leave it there because I have to get ready, because I am going to the album release party / Halloween show, which I am so excited about. I cannot wait. I will be there. This is going up. Yeah, it's going up today. So I will be there. If you're there, come talk to me. Come say hi. I've got my outfit ready. You know what? I should just tell you my outfit. I'm dressing up as one of Poppy's videos. So yes, the whole body white, which I'm so excited about. And I call it a costume. It's not really a costume, but is anything really a costume? It's all just clothes. Anyways, I'm gonna end this video here. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up and comment down below your thoughts on this album if you heard it. Are you planning to hear it? Are you not planning to hear it? And subscribe, or you're dead to me, because happy Halloween. And I will see you tomorrow. I'm gonna get to cracking and editing this video right now. Goodbye.